Well, it's time to create a movie. So first thing we're going to do is add a new layer. You don't want to put your camera on a layer so you can turn it off and on so you don't get to see it in some of the screenshots and things. Alright, now once you've selected your camera layer, we're going to begin to create our movie and walkthrough of our property that we've created along the way. So what you first want to do is a good tip is just to kind of decide first and foremost, your path of your camera, where you want to walk. You can do this by just basically envisioning if you were walking along the property, what would you want to see? So we're going to use the front of our property here, and what I'm going to try to create is kind of like a front entrance sequence. Maybe come up the driveway and veer left along our beautiful shrub and foundation planting, and maybe end with a nice, shot of our front entrance. Again, because it's just going to showcase everything we've done so far. So we can do this by starting on our ribbon tab, main, and we're going to select movie camera under create. And you notice your cursor now has a plus symbol, just like you're creating a patio or any other element like before. Going to head over to our plan view. This is, I think, the best way to create our pathway, so we can see kind of from above, where we're going to start, come up our driveway, and our landing, which is our front entrance over here. So once again, let's select our movie camera, and let's make sure your point type is also the curve here. You don't want to have the angle because you're going to want to make a nice subtle turns, and it's going to look really really neat. So I think we'll start in our driveway. Our first point. Now you can see that it shows you the feet, so you can see how many feet apart your intervals of your camera are, like your station. So let's go up along the driveway here, about 30 feet so, and let's start our first curve. Okay, right up into the front of our foundation planting, and maybe we can end looking right at our front entrance area in our porch. And we're going to right click to create and place our line. Now you can see that highlighted is your red line here. This is the path of your movie, your camera. So just think that that's the path that your camera is going to follow and film. Okay, now let's go back to perspective view. Now you can see once again you have this white line that's showing our pathway that we've chosen. So let's double click on our movie camera like so, and you can see that under your camera details it's going to give you a camera name. You're also going to give you a bunch of details here like direction, angle, which we'll go over in 1 second, and also our camera view, which is most important, as well as this preview button. This is what this, as you can see, every time I placed a point, which here's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points here, and now this red point is selected, which is our first point, and this is the view of that camera. So right now you can see it's just staring at a column here, but you can simply change the direction like so under your preview. You can see that when you do that, your camera actually orbits left and right and rotates. So first thing you want to do is just understand that each one of these points has a different camera view, and as your camera moves along this pathway, that's what it's going to be recording and filming. Okay, so we're going to start with our first point here. We're going to also change the height of our camera. Now you're going to want the majority of your cameras to be at about a human being height, so say 5 foot, 6 foot tall. But you can get really creative with your camera. So I'm always like to start my first one maybe a little bit higher. Let's come in at say 10 foot 10, just under 11 feet. And then we're going to kind of swoop it down to that like 6 foot mark. It just kind of adds some more character and detail to our final animation. So once I've changed that to my height, now we're going to go up to back to our direction. I think that's a good direction for right now. We can edit that in a second. Our angle is good. Angle is going to tilt the camera up and down, but we're going to just keep that at 0. We can also adjust the speed, which we'll get into once we watch our preview. And we can also change our field of view, which is really important. So we'll show you what a recommended field of view is. Paying attention to our camera view here, and with our first camera selected as so, we're going to start to change the field of view. Now, you can go all the way up to as much as 100. You can see how zoomed out that gets. Now, a good one that I recommend is between, say, 40 and 50. So you could even compromise with, say, 45. Okay, so let's keep that. This is a really nice angle because you can still see most of our home, but it kind of keeps things still crisp and detailed. Now, the direction of our camera, when you want to get more precise, instead of just toggling left and right with this icon, you can just use the up and down. Now, what I want to do is I want to come in a little bit more straight here. I don't want to give away the whole house at first. I want to come as like I was walking down my driveway. Then we're going to curve left and rotate the camera, show you how to do that. So maybe I'll come in a little bit to the left, but not too much. Let's keep it right around there. And then, like I said, we'll hook around. Okay, so on to the next point. Let's select our next one. We're going to go up to about, let's stay at 6 feet, okay? That's a good one. That's about a good height. Rotate the direction of your camera again. Let's change our field of view as well to, I think we had 45. Now we can start to rotate the camera a little bit more to the left, gradual to the left. So you can see that from point 1, I was a little bit more straight on. Point 2, we're getting closer, and I'm starting to tilt the camera to the left now and give you like a view of the home, okay? Now let's go into the third point here. First thing, let's adjust our camera height. You want to make sure those are all consistent. Let's go back and change our field of view, of course, to back to 45. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Now I'm going to keep the camera focused in on our beautiful front beds here. So you can see from camera point 2, we're coming in sort of a little bit of an angle. And now the third point, we're going to be closer, but I also want to focus in on that front bed. So like I've done, just like this. And for our next point, I'm going to first change it to 6 foot here. And now, a little tip here is, well, first of all, let's change our field of view. Make sure these are all, they all stay the same and consistent, unless you are changing your curve and left and right. But I know that I want my field of view to stay the same, so my view looks like similar. And now we back up to 6 feet. Now let's go back to this third point real quick and get our direction. There's 109 degrees. I do want to stay within, say 95 or something, some sort, so we can make sure that I'm getting that same consistent, like, straight edge camera angle across the front of our foundation here. Now you can see from my field of view, I don't want to change the field of my view to anymore. I want to keep that view of my camera the same. So what I'm going to simply do is, at any time you can edit your point. I'm just going to bring it back just a little bit. So see how I got a little bit more view of our walkway in our bed here? Because I want to see that grass to walkway. It's just, I can manipulate with anything I want. And I might even go a little bit even further in, like so. All right, perfect. Okay, let's go back to our next point. Let's change that to 6 foot. Now I am going to start to change the field of view just a little bit now to create this last two view of the home. I kind of want to expand it, just like we had our first point here come from 10 foot 11, 10 foot 10 to down to 6. So just add some character. So I did stress the field of view is it's important for these few in the middle here, because I want that camera to be the same. But now I know that I want to manipulate to get a little bit bigger, to get a little bit of a better view, and kind of just end with some flair. So I'm even going to go up about 10 degrees. I'm going to go to 55 here, okay? I'm going to make sure my direction is still about 90, straight onto the house. And then let's keep going to our last point here. Let's go up to, back to 6 foot. Let's see if we can get it. Alright. Now let's go back to 55, just like before. And let's focus right in on our front walkway here. Now I do want to bring my point back just a little bit, like before I had done, just so I can make sure I get that grass to the landing here. I'm going to rotate my camera a bit more, so I have a straight on view of our home. And what I'm going to do next is, let's preview this first and foremost. So to preview, all you have to do is in your camera view, under camera details, just simply click preview, and it'll automatically go back to that first point. So you can watch our video. Now you can see how it swooped down just gradually. Looks great so far. And it's going to come in. Now you can see we can get that nice view of our awesome foundation planting. Look at this. This is really dramatic. Come right across. We can still see that grass, the pathway to bed. Get the whole view of the house in there, just like we had planned. And great. Look at that view of the house. Okay, now you can see how it ended really quickly. Now what we're going to want to do, now we're going to get into hold time, which is an awesome tool. So let's click back on our first point here. And you're always going to want to start and end your animation with a little bit of a pause, so it doesn't look like it just boom goes right into play and then it just abruptly stops. So I like to, a second is a pretty solid time. Again, you can create it to whatever you would like. So I'm going to start off with about a 1 second pause. And I want to keep, nope, I don't want any pauses in the middle here. But the pauses could be useful for if on a future property you have like a focal point or like a water feature you really want to zoom in on. You can click a point anywhere in your camera path here, and you can hold. So if you want to zoom right in on something like a show tree or a nice hardscape pattern that you've created, you can pause. And we'll show you the pause when we preview. Now I do want to pause for our final view, and I know what, for field of view, just to again get that expanding view that I want, the field of view, I'm even going to go to more, to say, let's call it 60, okay? And I want to hold this for another second. And I know I do, so it doesn't just end abruptly like I had said before. Okay, now that we have our camera path, we've went through our details here, we showed you the preview. The next thing you're going to want to do, now see, if you deselect your camera, it just hovers just like so. And this is why we put it on a layer, so we can just turn that on and off. You don't have to see the camera hovering around. Just a kind of quick tip. So we're going to select our camera, and under our ribbon tab main, we're going to select create movie. Now by clicking this, you're going to have camera 3. Now I know this is the only camera here because 1 in our camera details, this is camera 3, and it's the only camera I've created so far. If you had more than one, if you click this down tab, there would be more than one camera there, and you can select which one you'd like to render. And you can see it even gives you a preview. Runtime is going to be about 30 seconds or so. Now we're going to definitely upload this to our virtual property line to share. This is a great feature to share. It's even going to tell you how much disk space is required, as well as what I have available, and video size. So it does give you a lot of great options, including 720 HD. There's also high, and there's also a medium, which is the fastest upload. I recommend doing the fastest upload, because especially when you're sharing your video. And make sure upload to virtual property line is always selected. Now we're going to go to browse, and we're going to save this to my desktop so I know where it is always. I'm going to call this final animation. Enter. And once we select next, movie name, this is the movie name for our virtual property, final, let's call this final movie. You can also write a description. Let's call this front entrance. Simple as that. Of course, you can add anything else that you may like. And of course, the last step is going to be to create your movie. So by selecting create movie, what's going to happen is it's going to save one to your desktop, which I have chosen to save, and it's also going to upload to our virtual property up on the online. So let's start. Create movie. You can see at the bottom of your screen it says step 1 of 3, generating moving frames. It's going to tell you the % complete. So I've sped this process up a bit, just so we don't have to, watch the upload process. But it should take, 3 to 5, 6 minutes to upload and successfully render and also upload to your virtual property. So once your virtual property has been created, not only will it let you know that it has been successfully created and uploaded to your virtual property, that means it's done, so we can hit OK, or you can also view your virtual property in line, but we're going to go there in a few seconds anyway. So hit OK, and now you can see your camera is still here, and now we can hide our camera, but you can turn that back on any time, and it'll always be saved, so you can go back and render another version or edit it at any time. Alright, well, and that being said, let's go online. So after we've logged into VisionScape, selected our Hampton House series once again, you can see now we have our screenshots, which we've uploaded along the process here. We also have a movie now. So if you select the movie tab, your movie will automatically start playing for you, as so. And there you go. Here's your movie, which was also saved to your desktop, so you can do what you may with it, as well as upload it to our virtual property online. It'll play for you right here. Look at the quality of that. It's awesome. Get a nice view of our beds, just like we had planned for. Looks great, guys. Alright, well, so this is how you create and upload your animation of your property you've worked so hard on so far. You can create more than one and upload more than one, of course. And stay tuned. We're going to recap what we've learned thus far, and also how to manage your property and some more fun tools available in VisionScape. Thanks, guys.